Okay, so here I'm just going to give you a little bit of advice about how to set up a portable kind of storage system. You will always want to have a really rational and logical organization system for your files anytime you're going to work in these Adobe products. It's again up to you to make sure that you're keeping your things organized, you don't lose them. This is good advice for anybody who's maybe working on a computer at home and then they're also taking a computer and or taking their files home to a workplace and then back and forth, or you're moving around in a computer lab like in an academic setting. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can go about setting these things up. But the main thing to know is that you're going to want to have a thumb drive, I call it, or a USB kind of hard drive, a portable hard drive, something like that that'll show up on your computer like mine has here. And you just want to go ahead and open that up. And then within that, you can do things like just make different folders, right? And so I have a couple of projects started here, but I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder for this example. I would call this like, let's see, say I'm working on an animation of some sort. I would name it that. Make sure you name things that's something you can remember and things you can keep track of. Like again, if you're just dragging in a whole bunch of files with a bunch of long numbers, sequences, and like the random file names that get built for you automatically, you're often going to have no clue what anything is. So if you can label things, it'll really save your bacon. So within that folder now, I'm going to make a new folder, and I would call this one like something I can remember, that this is like assets or raw photos or something like that, just to so I know that these are like, this is the place where I'm putting like my original things that I'm going to kind of start working with in my project. So any like assets that you are going to bring into Photoshop or any of these other programs, you're going to want to do that. So now that I have that folder built, I could go ahead and like kind of drag these images that I might use and just copy them in there. So however your computer helps you do that, just go ahead and copy that stuff in. And then, if it comes off of like your camera roll or some other place you have it stored, like on a website somewhere, you just want to consolidate all of those actual files here. You don't want them scattered all over the place. You just want to keep everything organized. And as you're adding things to this, you're going to want to keep them in the same folder. So now anytime that I'm going to move around, I know, okay, here's my folder and here's my Photoshop animation. And then, here's the stuff that I'm working with. I can drag things in there and keep them in one organized spot. And then I can unplug this thumb drive and I can take it with me. And then my other suggestion is always that once a day you back this jump drive up to something else, like to a computer somewhere, to a different hard drive, to a cloud-based storage system like a Dropbox or Google Drive or something where you're backing that thumb drive up someplace else. Because what'll happen, which happens to everyone, is you'll end up maybe losing the thumb drive. It gets stolen, you leave it in the lab on accident, can't find it again, and then your whole project is gone and you have to start over again. So this will happen to you eventually if you do enough of this kind of work. It happens to everyone. It's just tragic and sad, and you'll live through it, but it's a bummer. So my suggestion is, if you can, try to have a system, like try to get kind of organized and be pretty strict about it, where every day you're just like, hey, I'm going to back this thing up to the cloud so that I know that if something bad happens to my thumb drive, or if this thumb drive gets corrupted or something, I have a backup somewhere. So that's my basic kind of getting started advice for organizing your files. So get all your stuff together, the drawings that you've scanned in, the photographs you're going to use, whatever assets you're going to pull in, and then organize them and put them in here, and then you'll be ready to move on to the next step.